Welcome to the STEM Tutor channel. In this video, we will solve one problem from each of the four content domains. Let's get started. The first problem deals with linear inequalities and is part of the algebra portion. Here, we're given the triangle inequality theorem, which states that the sum of any two sides of a triangle must be greater than the length of the third side. We're given this length of the two sides, which is 6 and 12, and we have to find the inequality that represents the possible length of x, which is the third side. So the three inequalities that we have to deal with is 12 plus 6 is going to be greater than x. The second one is going to be 6 plus x is greater than 12. And the third one is going to be 12 plus x greater than 6. Okay, so from the first one we get 18 is greater than x, which just means that x is going to be less than 18. The second one we have is 6 plus x is greater than 12. We subtract 6 from both sides. We get x is going to be greater than 12 minus 6, which means that x is going to be greater than 6. The last one, x is a positive number greater than 0. So this identity works anyways. So 12 plus any positive number x will work here, and it's going to be greater than 6. So the real two inequalities that we are working with is x is less than 18 and x is greater than 6. This becomes a compound inequality, which states 6 is going to be less than x and x is going to be less than 18. So our answer is option C. The second problem involves nonlinear equations and system of equations and is part of the advanced math portion. Here we're given an equation and we have to find the solution set of the equation above. So let's solve this equation first. So we'll get square root of 2x plus 6 plus 4 is going to be equal to x plus 3. We'll bring the 4 on the right hand side, so we'll get square root of 2x plus 6 is going to be equal to x minus 1. And so when we square both sides, we will get 2x plus 6 is going to be equal to x squared minus 2x plus 1. And we'll take the 2x plus 6 on the right hand side as well. So we'll get x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 2x minus 6 is going to be equal to 0. And so we'll get x squared minus 4x minus 5 is going to be equal to 0. So here, this equation is similar to ax squared, the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c is going to be equal to 0, where a is 1, b is negative 4, and c is negative 5. We can split b and c with m and n. So we'll get m plus n equals b, and m times n equals c. So the two values that work with these two equations for m and n is m equals negative 5 and n equals 1. And so finally we will get the equation x squared minus 4x minus 5 equals 0. And we'll split this, so we'll get x squared minus 5x plus x minus 5 is equal to 0. And when we factor this, we get x minus 5 and x plus 1 is equal to 0, which means that x is going to be equal to 5 or x is going to be equal to negative 1. We might think that this is the solution, but we have to do our due diligence and plug the x equals 5 and x equals negative 1 into the equations above. So let's do that. Let's start with x equals 5. And so let's look at the left-hand side. Left-hand side is going to be equal 2 times 5 plus 6 plus 4. which makes it square root of 10 plus 6 plus 4, which means it's going to be square root of 16 plus 4, which is going to be equal to 8. While our right hand side is going to be equal to 5 plus 3, which is 8. So our LHS, left hand side, is equal to right hand side. So this equation satisfies. The next one is x equals -1. So let's look at the left hand side. We'll get 2 times -1 plus 6 plus 4, which is going to be equal to -2 plus 6 plus 4. And so we'll get square root of 4 plus 4, which is going to be equal to 6 itself. And the right hand side is going to be -1 plus 3, which is going to be equal to 2. So in this case, the left hand side is not equal to the right hand side, which means we cannot use x equals -1 as a possible solution. And so the only number that satisfies is 5, and the answer is option B. The third problem involves right triangles and trigonometry, which is part of the geometry and trigonometry portion. Here we're given a triangle RST where S is a right angle and the point W, which is not shown, lies on RT. And we're asked to find the value of cosine of RSW minus sine of WST. Okay, so let's redraw the triangle. And when we redraw it, we can also put W anywhere we want. And remember, this is not the only place to put W. It could be anywhere on the triangle. So we know that this angle, total angle S, is going to be 90 degrees. And so this SW line segment cuts this angle S, 90 degree angle S, into two parts. So we can say that angle RSW plus angle WST is going to be equal to angle RST, which is the same as 90 degrees. Okay, that means that angle RSW and angle WST are complementary. Angles. Okay. So a trigonometric identity for complementary angles exists where the cosine of one angle is going to be equal to the sine of the other angle in the complementary angles. So that means that the cosine of angle RSW is going to be equal to the sine of angle WST. Okay, that means that the cosine of angle RSW minus the sine of angle WST is going to be equal to 0, since both are the same. And so the answer to this problem is 0. The final problem deals with probability, which is from the problem solving and data analysis portion. Here we're given a table with the percentage of responses by phone and email respectively for an alumni association survey. The critical information here is that the number of email responses is twice the number of phone responses. Okay, so let's say let P be the number of phone responses. Okay. And so the number of email responses will be 2p. So 2p will be the number of total email responses. And so the picnic was chosen by 20% from the phone responses. So 20% of p is going to be 0.2p, which is the number of picnic by phone. And the number of responses for picnic by email is going to be 5% of 2p. So it's going to be 0.05 times 2p, which is going to be equal to 0.1p. And so that's going to be the number of picnic responses by email. Okay. So the total responses of picnic by phone and email combined is going to be 0.3p, sorry. So it's going to be 0.2p plus 0.1p, which is going to be 0.3p. And this is the total number of picnic responses. And so what we're asked here is that if a person who preferred a picnic is selected at random, what is the probability that the person responded by email? So the person responding by email is going to be 0.1p, and the total number of people that responded for picnic is 0.3p. So the probability is going to be equal to 0.1p over 0.3p. So the probability is going to be 1/3. So that's our answer. Subscribe for more SAT Math and STEM content.